Hey everybody, welcome back to my book chat channel. So this is going to be another book review. This is a book review on The Lost Boys Lost Boy by Christina Henry, the true story of Captain Hook. So I'm going to quickly go through the synopsis and then go from there. There is one version of my story that everyone knows, and then there is the truth. This is how it happened. How I went from being Peter Pan's first and favorite lost boy to his greatest enemy. Peter brought me to his island because there were no rules, no grown-ups, and no grown-ups to make up his mind. There were no rules and no grown-ups to make us mind. I am tired. He brought boys from the other place to join in the fun, but Peter's idea of fun is sharper than a pirate's sword, because it's never been all fun and games on the island. Our neighbors are pirates and monsters. Our toys are knife and stick and rock, the kind of playthings that bite. Peter promised we would all be young and happy forever. I really think that should end with the phrase, he lied. So, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I'd say most of us are pretty familiar with the story of Peter Pan and Captain Hook, and how Captain Hook has always been casted as the villain, and Peter Pan has always been casted as the good guy. Well, I'll be honest and say that going through this particular story, it gave me a similar feel to if anyone's ever seen the TV show Once Upon a Time. It gave me a similar vibe to that. That was the first time I'd ever been introduced to the concept where Captain Hook was a good guy. It totally threw me for a loop that Peter Pan would be a bad guy. But going through and watching that series, and then actually rewatching even the Disney one from a parent's perspective, yeah, Peter Pan's kind of a bad guy. For a lack of a better way to put it, he's basically stealing kids and not always returning them. In the Disney one, they made it out to seem like they have a choice and they don't have to stay. But in the book, in the beginning of the story, that's not how it started out. And I'll be honest and say that I have grown in favor of Captain Hook, and I am not so much a Peter Pan fan anymore. Haven't been for quite some time now. I'm finding that the story was very dark. It was a very unhappy story. Definitely one, maybe not for the faint of heart. I mean, honestly, it gave me a lot of Hunger Game vibes. There were a lot of moments in there where it reminded me of the Hunger Games, and I know that's a popular phenomenon, so to compare it to the different arenas and competitions where the kids had to beat each other to death to win, it gave me a lot of those similar vibes. And the fact that Peter Pan was just a creator of the whole thing just basically threw me for a loop. And I ended up growing feeling a lot of sympathy for Captain Hook and the way that all took place and everything that happened. There was a lot of tragedy, there was a lot of sorrow. This is not a happy tale. So again, not for the faint of heart, and for those who might be really soft-hearted toward children, especially for us moms, definitely keep that in mind if you decide to give this a read. I definitely would classify it as a 4 out of 5 stars. I wouldn't say it was my favorite read, and that's particularly why it didn't get a 5-star. It was a very good read, very descriptive. It brought you into the story, and it left you, I guess, satisfied with the ending. There wasn't any questions. It was pretty much straight into the point. Definitely creates a lot of feelings though. Like I said, lots of sorrow. Not a happy story at all. So if you don't mind a little bit more of a gruesome tale, and like I said, some of the scenes that are described and take place in the book really do remind me of the Hunger Games. Just more on I almost want to say it's the tone a bit darker actually than the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games kind of made light of it at times, whereas this book really did not. There is nothing light about these situations at all. It actually gave me some thoughts to the book. Was it Animal Farm? I think I'm bringing forth the right book. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the book where a bunch of boys get stranded on an island and they end up basically learning how to survive, and it's not a happy place there either. Or is it King of the Flies or something like that? I can't remember what it's called. But it's one we have to read in high school, or at least I did. Anyway, so there was a lot of, between that and Hunger Games, there was a lot of very dark scenes and dark vibes. But overall, like I said, I'd say it was a pretty good book, a fairly good read. I would recommend it to those who might be interested in something different, a little bit of a different perspective on the Peter Pan story. I kind of enjoyed reading Captain Hook's story. I've been reading a lot of retellings like this and getting the story from the villain's point of view. I say that way because not all villains start out villains. They are usually created in some way, shape, or form. Maleficent being one of them, and Ursula being another. But yeah, so that's sort of my thoughts and feelings on this book. I'd be really interested to know what you thought of the story. I encourage you to leave your thoughts and comments down below. Have you read this? Is this one that you are wanting to read? So yeah, it'd be great to know what you think. I greatly appreciate you checking out this channel, and I will see you all again next week. Bye.